Hey, what's going on? My name is Coach Lee Hopkins. My pronouns are he, him, his, and you're listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to helping you replace harmful patterns with new possibilities. In each episode, we'll explore topics that inspire you to be yourself, live your truth, and make lasting connections. In this episode, we're going to talk about what happens when your friends or your family members or people in general are upset with you. What do you do? You've done something wrong, but maybe they won't tell you. Or maybe they tell you in a way that is making you even more upset. How do you handle that situation? Let's talk about it. Are you ready? Let's go. So to start off this episode, I'm going to tell you that you're perfect. You're an amazing person. You do things exactly the way they're supposed to be done. And if people are upset with you when you do those things, then it was meant to be. Believe that. That's the way I operate. That's the way I think. You're perfect. Everybody's perfect. We do things the way they're supposed to be done. And people are going to get upset about our behaviors. People are going to get upset. Okay? So imagine. So there's no, I didn't mean to, or I shouldn't have, or I didn't want to, or no. And let's just get rid of that right away and say that you were meant to have this experience where you were dealing with someone's anger and frustration because of the actions that you've taken. Let's go with that. Okay. Let's go with it. Believe it. This episode is going to be a lot easier for you if you believe that. It doesn't mean that you're a messed up person. It doesn't mean that you're full of faults. It doesn't mean anything like that. It means that you were perfect and you were meant to have this experience. Now, why? Why would you mean to have this experience of being the upsetting someone, or having someone being upset with you and frustrated with you and angry, however angry they might be with you? Well, quite simply, it's because you are meant to learn how to handle someone's anger. That's it. That's it. It's meant for you to learn how to handle somebody's anger. And it's important. Like your relationship, if you have done something and your friend, family member, coworker was upset by that, and you want to repair the relationship, you are going to look at their anger. You have to. And after you learn how to handle their anger and express your feelings, hear their feelings over this intensely scary emotion, you are going to be better. Your relationship will be stronger, guaranteed. Guaranteed. If you do it right, your relationship will be stronger. So, that's why you're doing it. That's why you're listening to this episode. That's why you're working through it, because you want a better relationship. It's inevitable that things will happen that they will be upset by. And here's how you're going to handle that. First of all, the very first thing that you want to do is check in with yourself. Check in with yourself and say, hey, what am I feeling here? Because if they show intense anger, you might get scared yourself, or you might get angry yourself. You might get angry and you want to fire back at them because they said some wild stuff. Maybe you messed up and you lost $500 of their money, and they're going to say some wild stuff to you. How could you? Maybe you did something that was completely unintentional, and you stepped on their brand new Nikes that they paid $350 for. Brand new white ones, scuffed them, and you knew that they were a collector. Mad at you. Mad. Anger from the depths of hell come out. You know how rare these shoes are? You know how long I waited to get these shoes? Mad. They're going to be mad. So you want to check in. What's happening with you? What's going on? You frightened? You got to do this emotional regulation piece first before you can say anything, before you can connect with them at all. Maybe you're deeply apologetic or deeply afraid, whatever. You have to tune in to yourself and figure out what that is. What am I feeling? before you say anything. You need to know it before you say anything. Whew, calm down, because if you don't know what you're feeling, the next part of this process where you talk to them, the next part of this process is going to be hard, because if you're intensely angry, then you're going to throw back some fire right back at them. They said something off the wall, you're upset, boom, you're fighting. Oops, that's not what you really wanted. You wanted to repair the relationship. The purpose of you entangling or experiencing that anger was to work through the relationship. Oops. So we just want to pay attention to that. Oh, the fear that might come up. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. It's not no. And you might shrink. You might shrink in front of them. You don't want to do that either. You want your sense of self. You want your sense of self and stand in it and own what happened. So check in with your feelings first. Make sure it's not a knee-jerk reaction when you start saying it, when you start talking to them. So first step, once again, say it out loud. Check in with your feelings. Regulate that. Okay? The next thing that you want to do in this situation, they're mad at you. You want to stop. That's it. You just want to stop talking. Stop trying to share your point of view. Don't do that at all. Don't do that at all. What we really want to do is listen to them. Listen and make sure they're heard and understood about how angry they are. Now, that doesn't mean that you get to listen to some off-the-wall, upsetting comments, disrespect, and put-downs and things like that. You don't have to listen to that kind of thing. And your friends, I'm not imagining that you're talking, because, this kind of intense emotional work here is what I would do for people that I want to be close to. I want to be close and I want to hear about what they have to say to me. And those people who want to share with me, they're going to have some respect for me. Those people that I want to listen to are going to have respect for me too. And even though they're mad, I'm going to ask them, I'd be like, I would imagine that they would also be in a state where they could just share their feelings without trying to disrespect and harm me in a way that's wild, But depending on your relationship and how much work you've done with these skills that I teach, how much work you've done with the emotional regulation, you might realize that you have impacted your friend in a way that is so egregious that they have difficulty saying things to you in a kind, clear, and concise manner about their frustration, like fire from the depths of hell is coming out and they're yelling and screaming and so forth. Woo. That's a lot. You might want to exit from the situation when that happens. You might want to be like, oh, I'll talk to you later. It seems like right now you are very angry and you cannot talk to me with respect. You cannot talk to me with respect, and that's fine. We'll talk about this later. Give them some time to calm down. But if they're in a calm, cool state, you've regulated your emotions, you have space to hear them, and you're listening to them. The next step is to listen to them and to hear them, what their grievances are about it. What their grievances are, because they were hurt. It's not for you to say that their feelings don't matter. Their feelings matter to you. If it's important to them, then it's also important to you if you are a friend. It's also important to you, especially if you're the one that transgressed, especially if you want to heal your relationship and take it to the next level, right? So you're listening to them tell you about the frustration that they have. You're listening. That's the next step. The next thing after that, after they said all the stuff, because it's not about you. You've regulated your emotions. You put them to the side. You reflect back their feelings. You tell them that they're justified and they're right because they did have these strong feelings about the actions that you took. Own it. Own it. You stepped on their shoe. You scuffed it. Own it. Own the fact that you did that and the feelings that come up with it. Acknowledge their feelings about it. This is how you reconnect. You don't run away. You don't run away from the problem. You might have to leave if it's wild. I mean, if they're really, really angry and upset, but you're going to come back and you revisit and you're going to do the same thing. You give them an opportunity to emotionally regulate and calm down so that you can have a productive conversation. But you don't run away from this. You don't leave it. You don't sweep it under the rug. You don't say, oh man, forget about it. It's not that big of a deal, because you will ruin the relationship if you do. They're going to harbor resentment towards you because you can't handle what you've done. You demonstrate right there quite clearly that you can't handle their reaction to your actions. You can't handle it. But if you want to take your relationship to the next level, that is, you want to be closer, you want to connect better, you want to understand each other some more, you're going to spend time understanding their anger and their frustration. You're going to put away your fears, you're going to put away your own anger, you're going to put away your sorries and everything, and you're going to hear them. And this will heal your relationship. This will connect you. So if you're out there and you're like, I don't think I can, or, when people get mad, I tell them it's not a big deal, you're going to have a bunch of associates around you. You're going to have a bunch of associates, the people that just don't know you, and they don't care to know you deeply, and you don't care to share with them deeply, because anger is an emotion just like any other one. And you need to be able to hear that and have people express it just as their joy, and their sadness and their fear. You need that to happen. You need that to happen. And so with this, you also might be tempted to say, I'm sorry, and sweep it under the rug, but we're not going to do that either. If you do this correctly, you won't even need to use the words I'm sorry, because everybody wants to be heard, understood, appreciated, and accepted. They want you to know how they feel about their experiences. So if you can demonstrate that you hear them and they're right about how they feel about their experience, that is enough. That's enough. I'm sorry is not it. That's enough. To understand how they feel about their experiences. Demonstrate that you understand how they feel about their experiences, and then make sure you change that behavior. Make sure you change that behavior. You step on my shoes, 2, 3, 5. No. No. You do the thing that upsets me. You insult me, 2, 3, 5. No. No. You need to change that behavior along with it. You're paying attention. The right to feel the way that they do, so angry. And if you are a friend who does not want your friend to be angry about something that you do, then you don't do it. Very simple. Very, very simple. All right? I know it's simple but not easy, but you still got this. So many people have reached out to me and said, I wish that you had a community, Coach Lee, because I would join instantly. Well, I have one now. It is called the Trust and Thrive Tribe. It's a collective for those who not only want to meet new people, but make deep, lasting relationships. You are going to be empowered and learn directly from me as well. Here's a high-level overview of what you're going to get. Weekly Q&A sessions. You bring your challenges, and I will give you practical solutions for your challenges. Twice a month, we'll have hot seat coaching. That means you can bring your specific challenges, and I will focus on you specifically for the entire duration of the call. And of course, you're going to have a community of like-minded individuals who are interested in making those deep, long-lasting connections. We'll also be running challenges with prizes like winning one-on-one coaching sessions and other ways to work with me. So if you want to make meaningful relationships, you always wanted to work with me, but you weren't sure how, this is your opportunity. Go to patternsofpossibility.com/trust-and-thrive. That's again, patternsofpossibility.com/trust-and-thrive for more information. Now it's time for your listener letters. If you'd like me to give you actionable steps to create more meaningful relationships with something that's happening with you in your life, you can write me at patternsofpossibility@gmail.com, and I might read it here on the show. I'm jealous of my friends' other friends, and I hate being envious of these other friends. Advice or sympathy is accepted, but I just want to put this out there. I have an online friend. We've known each other for over a month now. We've even face revealed, which made me even more comfortable talking to them. However, sometimes I come across their videos and mutuals and I feel a spark of envy pierce through me. I look through their comments and they seem very happy and fond of their other mutuals. I understand that we have to give space to others and that it's best to see our loved ones happy. However, it's something that I struggle with, being secretly envious of others. I don't mention it to them, obviously. I just keep it in my own thoughts. I'm suspecting that I'm too attached to them due to how I was raised as a kid. I never had any friends growing up. I was always a lonely kid sitting out, watching all the others play around and enjoy their lives. So, any sort of interaction always startled me. But nevertheless, I am happy to have this person as an online friend. Hopefully I didn't come across too, quote, obsessive. But I appreciate some feedback on how to stop being like this. All right, well, yeah, so you asked for advice or sympathy, and I'll give you both because I have lots of it for you. Definitely sympathy. Our emotions hijack us, and they do all kinds of things to us. And it seems like there's one here, envy, jealousy of your friend being happy. But there's something, and I'm not a therapist. I just spent 4 years in therapy, in group therapy, until they kicked me out because I started asking questions the therapist couldn't answer. So I know things, and I've applied them to my life. And this is what I discovered about this, because I used to be like kind of mad at people for being happy. I used to be like that. And what was going on with me, and I think might be going on with you, is this fear of abandonment. This fear of having something happen where you lose your friend. He maybe subconsciously, deep down in there, he decides, or he or she decides that, look, you know what? I'm really happy with my friends. I don't need you. We're smiling. We're happy. I've only known you for a month, so just get out of my face. I'm done. And you could see their friends being a reason why they would do that. Like, they don't need you for anything. And if they don't need you, then they can easily let go of you. And you can see proof in the pictures that they're smiling with other people. And maybe you think, well, you don't smile. Or maybe he doesn't smile or she doesn't smile with me. Not like that. I don't know. It could be that they lose. I don't know. You know, that kind of something that's playing in your head, that voice that's saying those things to you. Could be like something that's very subtle and maybe unnoticeable, but it's driving the behavior to be jealous. Because that's what you have. That's the skills and tools that you have. So definitely sympathy, understanding that you're in this position and it's not very healthy. You recognize it's not very healthy. You're only mad at people for being happy and you want to see them happy, but it seems like it's at your expense or potential expense. That's your potential expense. So what I want to say is that as far as giving some advice, well, this is a tough one, right? Because all of this is coming from you. It's internal. There's probably nothing that you could see that they're about their behavior that says, I'm going to leave you, that I'm not going to talk to you. I'm better off with my other friends. I don't need you. So the advice that I would have for you is to find your own sense of self and your own sense of purpose. You know, I talk a lot about having a sense of self to create meaningful relationships. And if you don't have that sense of self, you do things like this, or your emotions will hijack you. You will feel unsafe when people around you are trying to be in a space to help you be comfortable. They're being themselves. You like each other, but it's you. It's your thoughts about how they might leave. It's your thoughts about how somebody is better than you and they will choose the other person. It's your thoughts of being alone and being lost and being rejected. That's all you. And where the sense of self comes in is it helps you be alone. It helps you say, look, I don't have anybody around me, but I have me. I like me. I do things that are fun and interesting and exciting in me, and I genuinely enjoy my company. Whatever I like to do for fun, it's not because I'm forced to do it with somebody else or I see somebody else doing it. I'm trying to fit in. It's nothing like that. So finding your sense of self is really going to help you in this situation. And also, what does it mean to find yourself? Well, it really means to go out and explore and do things alone. Pay attention to how you feel about those experiences. And you've said that you were a lonely kid and watching other people play and you envied their lives. You wanted to join in. But here's the thing. You don't need other people for that. If that's anything that you can take away from this, you don't need other people to have fun, to have excitement, to have joy. You can find it all by yourself, doing things all by yourself. And to make any meaningful connection, I'll reiterate that it is very important. It's step one to understanding what you want from other people. You have to understand yourself. Go out there, do things that are fun and exciting, and don't think about that other person and what they're up to. And I'll add to this is that when you find your own joy and excitement and your sense of self, you will attract the right people because you're going to be a fun person to hang out with. You're going to be great. You're going to be a joy itself to be around because you know it. You know who you are. You know how you show up. You can entertain yourself. You'll have a sense of confidence that will draw other people to you. So if anything, definitely understand where you're coming from. Go find your sense of self and you'll feel a lot better and create even more meaningful relationships. Hey, thank you so much for listening. If you like this podcast, share with someone who you think could benefit from this information and follow me on social media. You can find me at Patterns of Possibility on all social media. And I go live on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can catch me and learn more about these social connections and interact with other people who are looking for the meaningful connections, who share the same kind of stories and be in community. And don't forget to sign up for my newsletter at patternsofpossibility.com, where you will get actionable steps delivered to your mailbox every week. Thanks again for listening. Until next time, take care.